I'm going to go through and capture a image for VMware's ThinApp. Some of these concepts apply both to ThinApp and XenApp. So for example, you're going to monitor the file system and registry and whatever else these installers do. So it's important that whatever things that you want to mess with that are not application specific, you get them done with beforehand. For example, if you want to put an IP address onto your computer, do that before you start this process. Otherwise, whatever registry changes happen because of a DHCP requested an answer, that's going to be part of that ThinApp image or the XenApp image, and you may not want to dynamically apply something that doesn't really apply to every single user. Not every single user wants to know the templated IP address, so do all that stuff before. You're going to install VMware's ThinApp, and once you do so, you will have this icon to launch ThinApp. And what it's going to do is it's going to say, alright, do you have a Thin PC? So what I did was I created a brand new XP image on VMware. I made it join the domain because I wanted to make sure I could access my installers and whatnot beforehand. I didn't want that to be part of the ThinApp image. And I snapshotted everything. I shut down a machine, I snapshotted it, I just rebooted, checked my IP address, now we're here. And ThinApp will actually scan my entire file system and figure out what used to be there and compare it with afterwards. Now XenApp's a little bit different. XenApp will actually create a little bubble and monitor things a little better. I think both of them have their own merits. Who knows, you may need to use a combination just to do everything you want. So anyways, it goes, alright, go ahead and minimize the screen, install and configure your application, then maximize this and click next. So what we're going to do is, now that the scan is done, we are going to go and install Firefox. So I'm going to grab this from my NetApp. I was doing some other installs earlier for XenApp, so I have things in my Citrix folder here. I'm going to go ahead and install Firefox, just doing things very normally. And it's very important that in most cases you license, activate, install, run things at least once. Because these programs these days, they like to go through these crazy dialog boxes, and you don't want your user stuff to run through this. You want to make this part of the common thing. The common thing is that everybody's already done with all these silly little dialog boxes and prompts and whatnot. Alright, so this is where your users would probably end up. They're going to be pretty happy at this point. Maybe you want to just run it one more time to make sure that things actually start up the way that your users should see it. No more update dialogues and whatnot. Alright, we're good. Now we click next. XenApp is going to go and try to figure out, okay, what in the world did that installer do? What files did it place? What registry keys did it change? And it's going to ask you, hey, I saw that it installed all these executables here. This isn't a list of all the files, it's just a list of all the executables that it thinks that you might be interested in. Which ones do you want to let your users run? So obviously a regular user would not be going out and running Crash Reporter, not for fun at least. So you're not going to create those shortcuts for the user to run, but maybe you might want to leave safe mode around just in case. I'm going to go next, and it's going to say, alright, who can use it? So you can actually change this, and you can say, alright, where do you want to be able to put the sandbox and whatnot, which is when the user runs it. Where do you want them to keep any of those files and whatnot, that whatever dirty laundry that this program creates in runtime. Then what mode do you want to be able to have the user be able to drop stuff in? So for example, do you want any of the dirty files to be deleted after the runtime? And actually provide some of the guidance over here. So you're going to want to choose this on a per application basis. And you can actually create an installer thing. I haven't played around with that too much. And whether or not you want any compression. You can say where things are going to get dropped off in. So right here, I'm actually going to capture this to my C drive, and afterwards I'm going to copy network share. And there we go. Now the reason why I captured a C drive first is just because it's convenient. And the reason why I copied to network share afterwards is because I'm going to go ahead and revert this VM to the snapshot I took before I booted up. So I'm going to lose everything. So I'm going to take that packaged application, move it to the network so that other people can access these files. And let me show you what these files look like. I'm going to click on Browse Project, which is probably the easiest way. So you can see I'm inside my C drive here. I'm going to go past all these percent sign things and over to bin. And inside bin, you can actually see these files that it captured. Now if I create an MSL file, you actually see a MSI file over here. So that Firefox is all you need to actually run things. So I'm going to finish that. You go ahead and copy these two files to your network share, and whenever a user runs this, basically using a shortcut or whatever, they can actually browse to the network and run this. Even if a user does not have Firefox installed, they can run it. Or let's just say there's Firefox 2.0 and 3.0 and the user wants to run both for whatever reason. Well, then you can have a Firefox 2.0 ThinApp and a Firefox 3.0 ThinApp, and you can run both of them at the same time. So that's the basic concept. This gives you an idea of how ThinApp works, and we'll be actually running it in another demo.